We all have 24 hours in a day, and every day there is almost this battle to make sure every single minute spent is as productive as it can be. If you watch productivity YouTubers like Ali Abdal and Matt Diavella, you know the importance of being as productive as you humanly can be. But what's more productive than these guys, you might ask? It's being Dutch. There might only be 17 million of them, but the Dutch are residents to one of the most productive countries in the whole world. So productive that according to Trading Economics, they have reached a productivity score of 96.52 between the years 1988 and 2020. And on top of that, in the first quarter of 2018, they have reached a score that is all-time high that goes above 105. And I might very well say that the economic productivity of the country has a lot to do with Dutch people's approach to productivity as a whole. Over the years, living in the Netherlands, I've come to observe that the Dutch are very, very, very productive. They all seem to be having a secret. What is it? Dutch people prioritize differently. Instead of working endless hours to be able to afford things to impress people that they don't even like, they focus on the simpler things like going out for a walk in the park, meeting up with friends over coffee, or a lot of beer, and really put emphasis in cultivating relationships that are going to last for much longer than material possessions. And by doing so, they actually are not in this endless vicious circle of making more money, buying more stupid stuff, making more money to be able to pay off the stupid stuff like many other people in other parts of the world do. And because they're cultivating relationships instead, they are full of joy and abundance, and this helps them to become a lot more productive. All work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. All work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. Yep, the Dutch are masters when it comes to keeping that work-life balance. In fact, many Dutch people choose to work 3 or 4 days a week, and especially on Fridays after 4:30 p.m., you're not going to see any Dutch person inside the office because by then they will have left to enjoy the weekend. And the same applies during the week. They come to work when they have to. They stay at work until when they have to. They're as productive during that time as possible, and then they leave work sharp. This creates a healthy work-life balance so that they actually have time to do things that are outside of work, which in return makes them a lot more productive while they're working. On that note, I also want to mention here that the concept of working from home has never been a strange thing for the Dutch. Long before the current crisis, many Dutch offices actually allowed their employees to work from home several days a week, again reinforcing this healthy culture around work. Dutch people eat to live and not the other way around. Let me repeat that. Dutch people eat so that they can sustain their life. For example, in Turkey, where I'm from, food is a very big part of the culture. The whole life revolves around the time that you get to eat. But in the Netherlands, the Dutch have a very practical approach to nutrition. For example, during lunch break, you will catch a Dutchie with their trusty sandwich that gets consumed in under 30 minutes and then they go back to work. Versus in Turkey, usually lunch is around 1 hour and you go out to grab a warm meal. Now, there's nothing wrong with that except the fact that when you go back to work after that, your productivity levels are going to drop because your body is too busy digesting that heavy meal that you've just consumed. So when it comes to the productivity, the Dutch have figured it out. They keep their lunches and all of their other meals, as a matter of fact, as simple as it can possibly be. They eat to live, they don't live to eat. There are, of course, extreme examples of this too. I had a colleague who had to go to a meeting around lunchtime, so I actually caught him biking while eating his sandwich, and he was also texting at the same time. I don't know how they do it, but they have this next level superpower. There are studies that show if you're active, you're likely to lead a healthier and much more productive life. And the Dutch are no strangers when it comes to physical activity. No single Dutch person that I've met up until this point in my life told me that they don't exercise. They all have some sort of activity that they perform in a non-negotiable basis, whether that's running, playing tennis, or biking. And this is something that I highly admire about the Dutch, and a habit that I'm trying to build for myself, and one that I'm not doing so good at, but keeping your physical well-being and exercise a top priority. Over the years, during my experience working in Dutch offices, I had colleagues who would wake up at 6 a.m., go for a run, bake their own bread, and then bike to work. I also knew people that would bike from The Hague to Rotterdam to get to work, even if it was raining or snowing outside. This was something that was a non-negotiable to them. So if you want to actually be as productive as the Dutch, without even moving to the Netherlands, this is something that you can start to practice today for yourself. And as the last point today, I want to talk about how the Dutch spend their money differently. Like I said, they don't really need flashy things, and that money gets spent on experiences over physical things. This is why you are likely to find Dutch people so excited to go on excursions, on trips, whether that's inside the Netherlands or whether that's abroad. You're going to see them so excited to be doing activities that don't even necessarily require you to spend a single penny. And this, my friends, what makes the Dutch very productive, because they actually know how to make money, and they actually know the best way to spend it without putting themselves in debt. And my friends, this is how the Dutch are much more productive than the rest of us. I hope you found this video helpful. Let me know down in the comments, which Dutch productivity habit will you be practicing? And until the next time, do make sure to check out the video that's popping up right here on your screen, where I talk about the different ways the Turkish people versus the Dutch people spend their hard-earned money. And as usual, until the next time, don't forget to stay awesome. Catch you soon.